money here. I mean, nobody should be hitting lotto for 36 million and we got people starving in the streets. That is not idealistic, that's just real. I mean, can you imagine somebody having $32 million and this person has nothing and you can sleep? There's no way. There's no way that these people should own planes and their people don't have houses, apartments, shacks, drawers, pants. If they earned it, then I think that that's good, and I think that they deserve it. But even if you earned it, you still owe. Because look at me, I don't have that mega money, but I feel guilty walking by somebody. I got to give them some mail. And if I know I got $3,000 in my pocket, I feel like it's wrong to give that person a quarter or a dollar. It's wrong. Only you know what you got in your pocket. And that's wrong. No matter what they do, if they take it and drink it, they take it and drink it. But, I mean, you got. You understand? And we all know how hard it is, and it's not about if you good or you bad. So since it's not about if you good or you bad, we know that because he don't got don't mean he was bad. Or don't mean he's a criminal, or don't mean he's crazy, or a drug addict, or none of that. It just means he don't got. Look, okay, I know you're rich. I know you got $40 billion, but can you just keep it to one house? You only need one house. And if you only got 2 kids, can you just keep it to 2 rooms? I mean, why have 52 rooms and you know there's somebody with no room? It just don't make sense to me.
Woo, boy. The GOAT. Tupac Shakur, greatest rapper of all time, in my opinion. My GOAT. Pac, breaking it down. The greed. One of my favorite is his rant about Donald Trump. I love Pac's rant about Donald Trump. He talked about the impact of Trump encouraging the narcissism and greed in our society. And you know Tupac's been dead 30 years now. And so this has to be early 90s where he's talking about Donald Trump. Gimme, gimme, gimme. Be like Donald Trump. Gimme, gimme, gimme. Be like Donald Trump. And yeah, Donald Trump and all of his friends are making bank. The Forbes list has come out, and we have recently seen that according to the summary of the Forbes World Billionaires list, that there are 51 Americans on the list that are tied to the healthcare industry. 51. 51. Now, mind you, America is the only first world country, the only of the countries that are considered industrialized. Industrialized. That is without universal health care. Of the 33 industrial nations, 32 have some form of universal health care. America is the only country without. And so you look at this Forbes World Billionaires list, you have people on the list who obviously are owners of hospitals and healthcare systems, pharmaceutical companies and biotech companies, medical device companies, health tech and EHR software, and clinical research in healthcare investing. Some of the notable names on the list are Tom Frisch Jr., Jody Faulkner, Patrick Soon-Shiong, Larry Ellison. Once again, we talk about Larry Ellison fairly regularly on this show. Why do we talk about Larry Ellison a lot on this show? Well, because he's the one who said that because of AI in the near future, there won't be any crime. Why won't there be any crime? Because they'll be surveilling everything.
The police will be on their best behavior because we're constantly watching and recording everything that's going on. Citizens will be on their best behavior because we're constantly recording and reporting everything that's going on. And it's unimpeachable.
It's unimpeachable. Everything will be filmed at all times. The second richest man in the world who plans on creating AI, that's what all these data centers are for. You know, they lied to you and tell you that, we got to keep pace with China. Well, China only has 300 data centers. We have over 4,000 and are building them weekly. We have more data centers than the rest of the world combined. And we're building more regularly. And that's not so you can have Google search. I'm sorry. That's not so you can have Google search. And that's not so you can, message somebody in an email or watch a video on Netflix or YouTube. You were watching Netflix 10 years ago. Remember? Was there a data center right next to you taking up all the air and destroying the air and polluting the water next to you 10 years ago when you were watching Netflix or YouTube or Twitter or Facebook? No. No, that's what this is for. So the second richest man in the world right there is telling you they are surveilling everything. And he's also getting rich in the medical field. One name I saw in there is a name that we talked about before, Vivek Ramaswamy. Vivek Ramaswamy. If you don't know, Vivek Ramaswamy is a candidate for governor of Ohio. He actually became a darling of the right by playing the model minority role. He basically built his entire reputation on talking down about black people and saying that America's not racist, black people are just stupid and lazy, basically. And as soon as he started applying that same type of commentary to white people and saying that Indians and other immigrants are superior to them because instead of watching Boy Meets World and playing video games, they're studying, Donald Trump and the MAGA folks hurried up and got him out the White House. A lot of people forget he was supposed to be running Doge alongside Elon Musk. It was supposed to be Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk together. But Vivek said that and he had to go. And now we see he's on the world's billionaires list for being a healthcare billionaire. And I just want you to know exactly how he got his money, because there's a perception that all these people earn their money and they deserve their money, and that the rest of us are just stupid and lazy and don't do anything. Vivek Ramaswamy made his billions with an 8-person company. It was a fake company. 3 of the employees was his mom, his brother, and himself. So he had 5 employees technically that were not members of himself or his immediate family. They launched an initial public offering for an Alzheimer's drug that they knew had failed. They knew ahead of time that the drug was no good, and it failed in studies. They made billions of dollars, cashed out, and got out before the company tanked. That's how he got his billions. That's the man who loves to come here and lecture black people about how we're just stupid and lazy, and how he deserves his money. Now, again, I bring this up because, again, I love to talk about the rest of the world in comparison to America. Among wealthy, developed countries, the United States generally ranks near the bottom in life expectancy, middle to lower tier in overall healthcare outcomes. And we are number 1 healthcare spending per person. Why are we number 1 healthcare spending per person? Because we got to make sure that these 51 billionaires keep making their money. People like Vivek Ramaswamy and Larry Ellison. That's why. We got to prop them up. According to the OECD 2025 data, life expectancy in the United States is about 78.4 years compared with an OECD average of 81.1 years. That means in all the other rich countries of the world, you're probably going to live longer than you do in America. The U.S. is usually around 30th to 38th around OECD countries in life expectancy. We're behind most of Western Europe, Canada, Japan, Australia, and South Korea. At the same time, the United States spends drastically more on healthcare than any other country. We spend roughly $13,000 to $15,000 per person annually. $13,000 to $15,000. That is around 2 times the average of comparable wealthy nations. Now, why is that? Because they don't have healthcare billionaires making all this money gouging the public and committing fraud like Vivek Ramaswamy. That's why. We rank terribly in infant mortality. maternal mortality, preventable deaths, chronic disease rates, access and affordability, administrative complexity. Other countries, you just go see a doctor. In America, you got to make sure that your insurance covers this specific doctor or that doctor, and if you got to make sure the doctor's in your network. I got to call this hotline to make sure that I could get coverage for this and that, and it's always somebody in between me and my doctor. And so, because we live in this sort of hellscape, exploited by people like Vivek Ramaswamy and Larry Ellison, who want to mass surveil all of us and steal all of our money and force us to work for peanuts, we have higher preventable mortality rates, higher treatable mortality rates, higher obesity rates, higher suicide rates than the OECD average. We have higher rates of obesity and diet-related illnesses, drug overdoses and opiates, unequal healthcare access, huge levels of economic inequality, higher chronic disease rates, fragmented insurance system. Why do we have a fragmented insurance system? Because the system is designed to make Vivek Ramaswamy and Larry Ellison and Tom Frist billions of dollars. It's not designed. It's not a healthcare system. What did Chris Rock say all those years ago? The money's not in the cure. The money is in the medicine. And so that's where we're at. That's where we're at, folks. I just wanted to give a quick update on that. Before we go to a break, just had to get that out there before the happy happies. But it's important that you stay awake for all this stuff. All these things are interconnected. All these things are interconnected. They always have been. This is why Martin Luther King talked about the triple evils: militarism, racism, economic exploitation. He said all three things are interconnected. They were 60 years ago and they are today. All right, folks, it's after 7 o'clock. It's 7:08 in the PM here on Friday, May the 29th, 2026, here on WLTH, straight out of the cannon. So I think you know what that means. It's time for some happy happies. Let's lighten the mood. We'll be right back after these.